Welcome to the Thursday Image Critique, Camera Artist Image Critique. I am your host, George DeLoache. I'm a portrait artist and photographer's coach, and this is where we help photographers learn to master the photographic arts. We've got some really great images to go with, and I'm going to be able to jump into those in just a couple minutes. But I wanted to point out a couple of things to you that are just really, really valuable. We had one of our members, John Bowser, write a question, and I want to try to answer it as directly as I possibly can with as much information as I can give you. He asked, how do you go about recession-proofing your business, or how do you go about setting up for the coming recession? And that is a phenomenally good question. We are in, or will be soon, in a recession. There is really no doubt about that. Now, I have been through recessions from the 1970s with Carter and the gas lines, through the 80 recessions, through the recession of 2008, and somehow I've been able to survive the last 30 years. I made some really big mistakes, and I've done some things right, but I've stayed above water on my business for that time, and I've learned some things, and I want to share those things with you. Now, some of these things are things that will really help you right now. Others will continue to help your business grow. They're all sound principles, and they will help you at any time, but especially during this recession. One of the most important things in this recession is holding on to your money. Regardless of how much money you have, the idea is you only want to spend money and expend money on things that are going to help you make money. Outside of your normal living expenses, all of the money you have assigned for your business, all the profits that your business makes, is going to be plowed back in to making the business grow or keeping it alive. Now, one of the first places to start, there are three different ways to go about acquiring business, and those fundamentally are: number one, you add more clients; number two, you get more for every client by raising your prices; or number three, you find new products to supply your existing clients with. So all three of those are really important. Each one of them takes some thinking, some strategy, and planning. But let's look at the first one first. The most important one is your existing clients. Now, you want to make sure first that you're taking care of your clients. You want to serve your clients. Every one of them is precious. Every one of them is special. Everyone deserves 100% of your effort in order to supply them with the best that you can possibly give them. And if you give them exemplary service and exceptional images, you will gain trust in their eyesight, and they will tend to be loyal to you as far as to continue coming back to you, and they will refer you to someone else. Now, that's the least expensive client that you have. If you're having to advertise and get your client, the cost of client acquisition goes up. All of the money you spend on advertising and lead generation and lead conversion in order to bring people into your sales funnel is diminished dynamically when you are marketing directly to people that you've worked with before, because they have used you before, they trust you, and they understand the quality of your work. So you have to have a way of staying front of mind, and that means you're going to be sending out, just my business, I make sure that every week, at least every week, email blast goes out to all of my clients. And that is to make sure that when they're ready, they think of me. Now, they may be ready next week, they may be ready next month, they may not be ready till next year or the year after that. But if you are marketing to them on a regular basis, you will be front of mind because they have already dealt with you, number one, and they trust you, and you are reminding them of who you are. It is amazing how quick people forget who you are. They'll go, we used a photographer back last year sometime. I can't remember who he is. We'll find somebody, and that's death. So you want to stay right up on top of them. Now, have I always done that? No, I haven't. and it has cost me dearly, and that is an expensive lesson that I've learned. Right now, here in Los Angeles, with the impending recession, I would say 65 to 75% of my business is repeat business, is return customers. If I didn't have those, I would be in dire need of trying to find clients. And so these are people that are calling me back, and it costs very little to acquire, to keep that client, as opposed to acquiring that client. Now, the way I keep in touch with my clients is by loading all of their information in a database. You have the CRM, and I don't know whether, probably all of you have heard of it, but, and I always forget what they call this thing. It's a customer relationship management. That's what the CRM stands for. Okay, but that is basically just a glorified database, a way of putting your client information in order so that you can get to it and you can email from it. Most of the programs will allow you to email from it. Mine is connected with MailChimp, so that that's my email provider. That's the one that I use when I send out messages to my clients, because they have a algorithm that lets them get by a lot of the software that's sending everything to the spam folders. So they're the best at deliverability. That's a whole nother story. We won't go into that. But you want a CRM, some way of tracking. Now, there's a bunch of different CRMs, and some of them are expensive, some of them are relatively inexpensive, and some of them have free aspects to them that you can use when you have smaller operations. So just research them, and if you don't have a CRM, look for one. There are CRMs that are more business-oriented. Some of them are more oriented towards product sales. Others are more integrated or set up for services. It depends upon where you stand as far as how you integrate your CRM into your marketing flow. But however you do, you want to have this database. Now, there are industry-specific CRMs or studio management software. That's another name used for it. They add a bunch of extra stuff that you can do with it. But what you want to do is you want to be able to track each purchase, how much they paid, what their email address is, what their telephone number is, what their mailing address is, because don't belittle snail mail. Snail mail today, especially since it's not used that much and it is a little more expensive, can be, if done right, can be very effective in reaching smaller groups. For example, if you are a family photographer in a smaller town and you've only got 200 clients, well, you can send them out a postcard every few months along with emails every week, and that's a way to stay in front of them. And a lot of times they won't pay attention to it, but every now and then it'll come across them. Now, a couple of the CRMs they're very useful and are very inexpensive or free, believe it or not. One is called Monday and the other one is called Friday. I'm not kidding. Really, they are. So there are a couple that you can look into. You've got HubSpot, you've got Salesforce, you've got Pipeline, you've got a lot of different CRMs out there. I personally use Zoho. Z-O-H-O. Zoho is not, Zoho 1 has not only the CRM, but it's got tons of other stuff, tons of other analytics stuff, tracking stuff, emails, all different kinds of functions that help you run your business. And I connect Zoho directly to my Google Business, and the Google Business, the Business Suite has everything you need to operate from any kind of an environment. And you want to spend as little as possible and get the most bang for your buck, and make sure that your system is returning the best return on your investment that you can put out. Every penny you can hold on to is extra money that you can put into marketing. And during this recession, you're going to need that extra income. There are going to be lean times, and there's going to be times when things are a little easier. When things are a little easier, store up that extra cash so that you have it for those lean times, because Those lean times are coming, and you've got to be able to survive. The main thing is that you want to be standing when this recession goes away. Now, besides having a way to market to your direct clients, you also want to institute a referral system, a system that allows you or develops a system of asking and setting up referrals, referral services, so that it can be as intricate as a way to kind of give coupons to the referred and a coupon to the people that refer, a money back or money. But however you set it up, you want to have a conscientious system of referral. When you've done the job and you completed the job and they're looking at what you've done and they're going, oh, that's beautiful, that's wonderful, that's great. You want to have a way to get to them and say, can you refer me? Can you share me with your friends? Who do you know that might benefit from my services? These are all things that cause you, it's extra work. All businesses work. It causes you extra steps, extra work, but that's very inexpensive, but very effective at developing new clients. A client that you keep, number one, cheapest, best way to go about building business is keeping those regular clients, repeat business. The second way is word of mouth referral, because a referral will be more likely to buy from you than somebody that doesn't know you and doesn't already have a validation of a trusted friend that you are trustworthy and efficient at what you do. And so you want to have a valid referral service. Third, you want to, under all circumstances, you want to run lean and mean. You want to not spend one penny that you don't need or you can't make $1 off of. You don't want to buy equipment. You don't want to buy subscriptions. You don't want to buy anything that is not going to directly pay you back with money. Camera manufacturers, lighting people, equipment people are constantly bombarding you with information on how you should go about, oh, you should buy this latest piece or this one or this is great. And we as photographers love our gadgets, and I'm looking at a new lens right now, and I really like to have that lens, but I made myself a promise, and I'm not up against it yet. I still got leeway, but I've already run in lean, and I said I got a job that I'm bidding on. It's going to be a pretty big one, and if I get that job, then I will buy that lens, because that job will pay for that lens along with a profit on top of paying for the lens. And if I don't get the job, I don't get the lens. I will get along without it. I've got along without it beforehand. I'll get along without it now. So that covers those two areas. Let's see if there's something else that, and you want to go through and remove everything that's not productive. You want to really concentrate on what you're doing. There's a lot of things I could do, I could share with you as far as making your business more efficient. But those are a few things that you can do during this coming recession to tighten up your business operations, to secure new clients, and to keep the costs down. The cost of clients is, as I mentioned, it's always higher to try to acquire a new client. Facebook advertising, any kind of social media advertising, any kind of advertising that you do, any kind of marketing promotion, when you are attempting to gain new business, is difficult. It's a percentage game, it's a numbers game, and it's very low. It's like 10%, 5% of what you market is actually bringing you in business. But if you are marketing to your regular clients and to your referred clients, that goes way up, and the price of them goes way down. So keep that in mind. Okay, there we go. That pretty much covers it. I'm going to swing around here and excuse the back of my head. Well, I am, excuse the back of my head and my bald spot. I'm getting bald. Oh, boy. Let's see here. We want to jump into the images, and let's give you the first one. We are up on number 1, and the first one is Lee McDonald. Very good, Lee. You mentioned that you have to get the light up underneath the brim of the hat. You were demonstrating that. That's very cool and accurate. Now, I believe that everyone who has submitted images today has done a superior job. All of these images are way above what is ordinarily being turned out in our industry. But that's what I expect from Camera Artists Guild and from people who are here in the guild. As you guys continue to submit your stuff, my only desire, my only intention is to try to help you become better at what you do so that we collectively can be a force for good in the industry. So I'm going to push some of you guys a little bit harder because you are already really good and you need the push. And I am still looking for people to continue to critique my work and push me because I know that there's always higher that we can go. Now, back to you, Lee. A couple of things. One of the techniques that you can use, and it's always difficult getting underneath the brim of that hat. When you're working with hats, there are a couple of things. One, you can raise the chin just a little bit. It'll bring a little more light under the hat. Now, you've gotten underneath there with the lighting system. Or you can raise the brim of the hat just a little bit, or you can lower the camera angle just a little bit. Each one of those is a way that will help get a little more under the hat. Now, you can also use a reflector that will not do away with the shadow under the hat, but will decrease the shadow density. It'll make the shadow less dense. And then you use your light, your key light as a pattern, and your reflector to decrease the density. Another thing, you are just dead on bullseye center, and it kind of works a little bit with the two banks coming together, but I think that you could consider the placement of the horizon a little bit, this area back here in the back. Get it up off of just directly intersecting through the face and neck area, or through the chest and neck area, and raise him a little higher on that horizon. And I think it would add just a little bit to the image. And then finally, your light balance between the artificial light and the available light. They're almost the same, so it kind of gives us a flat look to it rather than a little more model light. And I would wonder, now you were, look from your setup, you were using a 7-inch reflector off of your light, which is really going to like spread the light out and give it a broad specular light source. You may want to try with the same shot there, running a snoot that would narrow the light down a little bit, get all the light off the chest and just focus it in on the face. That I think would help out a little bit, and toning down the light just a little bit so that it takes over. Well, that you take a lot of the detraction is not a good thing. A lot of the tension off of the sweater area in and around here, because the face is where you want that attention. And right now, with the lighting being the same on the face and on the torso, you tend this broad strip right here, a bright light, a bright color, really kind of draws your attention away from the face. So there's a couple of things to think about, but good work. I really like it. Thank you. Okay, next one, Keith Davis. Interesting photograph. Now, there's somebody that mentioned already in the comments about moving the train of the garment over just a little bit to cover this plate that's in the ground. You could either do that, or you could remove it with your patch tool if you can be very careful with it. The other thing that I would do would be to change your depth of field on this a little bit. Go to a wider aperture and cause your background here to go a little bit more out of focus. This one lady right here walking away, kind of wait for her to get out of the scene. They won't mind kissing each other. They're newlyweds, so you can keep them kissing, or you can have them break for a second and kiss again. But just pay attention to your background. And by throwing it out of focus with shallow depth of field, that will help out a lot. So I don't know what focal length lens you were using, but I would maybe try to run up to 85 or even a 105 and then move back a longer distance. Now the reason for picking either an 85 or 105 is that it will have a shallower depth of field just because the focal length is above 50 millimeter. So run it around 3.5, somewhere in that area, and this area will all disappear, or not disappear, but you will separate the mid-ground where your subject from the background. Very good, Keith. Okay, we have Jerome Hart. Very good, Jerome. Interesting photograph. A couple of things. I would move her off of the background, get her farther away from the background if you possibly can. She's sitting just a little bit close to the background, so her shadow intersects half of her body up here, and it kind of looks, you know, just a little muddled on the background. By pulling her off the background, you'll drop the shadow down lower into the area, and I think that will really help out a lot. Hopefully you can get her farther off the background. You may have to go to a 50 millimeter unless you're already using a 50, but I use a 50 an awful lot. Secondly, I think that you could possibly consider going to a short light pattern rather than a broad. Now, the reason why I choose short light is whenever you have a round face like this, short light tends to slim the face down a little bit, and that would really kind of help out, and because she always wants to look slimmer, and it would help out slimming both her face and her torso. And then there is a software called Portrait Professional, and they have a body software that will help you bring down, you can map out everything on the body, and it'll help you shrink different areas of the body and give her a little bit more of a waist, and I think she would really appreciate you for that. Okay, very good. Excellent, excellent, excellent image, Anthony. This is Anthony Robertson, and I love the hair. I love the background, the sky. You've got the horizon at the right place. I love the camera angle. Couple of things. One thing, I would drop this kicker down on camera left down a little bit. It needs to match the lighting that you have on her face. This shouldn't be the brightest because the sun is already down, so it's going to be obvious that you're using artificial light. But by dropping that kicker a little bit, and you remove the specular highlight, or at least tone it down all along here the left-hand side, and bring it up to where it is on the face here. Maybe bring the face up just a little bit, but it's kind of fine-tune it. And then consider moving her over here a little bit to the 1/3 compositional line, somewhere along in there, as you're composing and cropping the image. But you are doing really, really great work, man. Just keep it up. You're headed right up there with the best of them right now. So don't be. Just keep going. Okay, this one smacks at brilliance. This one is really a brilliant image. I love it. There are a few things that can be done to doll it up a little bit, but the lighting on her face and the posing is just perfect for the setting, the piano and everything. I might back off a little bit, get a little more shape of the piano in here on this side, drop her into the 1/3 compositional line, and extend the image so that it doesn't cut off her fingers and her arm over here in the side of her dress. Tone down the kicker just a little bit, this blue kicker. Just drop that kicker a little bit so that it's not competing with your key light. And then consider in post doing something to remove these this sign, the elevator button, and the signs over here. And this would be just really, really, really stunning. It is still really stunning. So thanks for sharing it with me, and keep up the good work, brother. Okay, Willie Demetrius Richardson. Another great photograph, Willie. I appreciate it. Now, I want to say this. I've already said it before. Say it again. All of you guys are outstanding, and I want you to know how proud I am of the quality of work that you're doing, and I want you to keep that work up. Willie, a couple of things. Number one, tone down the kicker on both sides, the rim lights or the accent lights. Tone them down a little bit so that they don't overpower the key light, the main light right here. Your lighting right here is really cool, and I want to see it. And I want to, but I don't want to see. The purpose of that kicker is to separate her from the background. So drop that kicker down a little bit. You may want to consider raising it some, bring a little more of the rim light or kicker up onto the top of her head so the top doesn't go so far out. But your lighting in here is really spot on. Everything else is exactly the way it's supposed to be. So great image. Okay, that does it for this week. And we will get back to the camera and come back around the front side of the camera, I hope. And there we are, and we are going to hope that, okay, hope that this one's okay. This is the second time I've been through this broadcast. I hope that this one's going out. If not, my voice is done for today. I'm not going to go anymore, but I hope it is. If you are watching this on YouTube, do me a favor, hit that like button right there. It really helps out with the algorithm. Go ahead and subscribe. I'll be glad to, or hit the bell button and be notified when I post another video. I post this broadcast every week on the YouTube channel and on to other various Facebook channels. Be sure to comment, and if you want to be part of Camera Artist Group, where you can directly submit your images, come on over to Camera Artist Group on Facebook Live, Camera Artist Guild Group, and join the group. Ask to join the group. You ask you a couple of questions and bring you directly into the group, and then you can post your image, or you post a message and attach your image, and it'll show up in the feed, and then I'll post that image, and then we'll critique it. I'll pick 5 images a week and critique it. Okay, everybody, I hope that the stuff for recession-proofing your business will help you a little bit. Stay lean and continue to turn out good work, and I will see you again next week. Take it easy, everybody.